welcome to this channel. It has been a intense, powerful purge and reclamation on so many levels. And you know that with my channels, I bring through the body work of Kanika, the 8 spheres of our sovereignty, the values that we hold through Kanika, that I love purges as much as they can be hard, as much as they can be heavy and dense and discombobulating. There is always a rebirth on the other side. And so I hope that you are feeling that. I have a lot to go through today. So I invite you to take a breath and let's dive in. So there has been massive developments on this planet in the last week or two, and we actually have this ongoing for another month. So we are in the eclipse season. We just had our very remarkable total lunar eclipse. And whether you're an astrology buff or you work with, the Ayurvedic side of astrology, the North and South Node are how the eclipses work. And so North Node at the moment is sitting in Pisces, which is our emotional body, it's the water body, and our South Node is in Virgo. So this is very much how we find our way around the world, like how we navigate and anchor ourselves within the realm of who we are on a day to day, but also on a bigger portal kind of energy. And so we are going into a big conversation around activating the dark matter that is sitting within our DNA, or what people call junk DNA, and why you might be feeling quite anxious, why you might be having things like dizziness, heart palpitations, water retention. I had a huge amount of water retention the last week. Why you might be feeling out of your body, why you might be having really vivid dreams, but also feeling like life is quite surreal at the moment as well. So we're going to go into all of those things. And our key kind of pillar that we are anchoring this on today is the Palatine bone, which is the bone that actually sits up in your palate. And this is one of my favorite cards, and I don't pick them at the time they are chosen for these channels. And so it's interesting that this one has come up because of how intense this eclipse is. It is bringing up a lot of old karmic debt and a lot of clearing of their ancestral lineage and the stories that run through our bones, which I talk about often because that's what we do with Kanika, is we clear the Akashic records that sit within the body. Even though it might look like just general coaching, we actually go into the body to get that shift. So the Palatine bone, Palatine, people say it in different ways. This is a powerful portal. You can see here that we have the frog medicine, we have the plant medicine of the bufo, which activates what is called 5-MeO-DMT is the chemical, and DMT is dimethyltryptamine that moves directly into our pineal gland and activates our ability to see other dimensions and other realms, right? And so something I do want to just clarify very quickly is when we work with plant medicine like this, we're actually having a true activation of the pineal gland. And we do this on a natural state as well without having to take anything external of ourselves. And that is called the sacred secretions. So they happen once a month according to your astrology, when the moon where the sun comes through your moon cycle. And that is a consciousness shift that we can make and amplify with the use of breath work. And so a lot of breath work out there is designed to amplify your DMT, which essentially allows you to jump into different timelines and really be in the realm of where that emotion is in the body and that kind of thing. So with Kanika, we use this, but in very short and very confined doses with the breath work, so that we can actually bring about the shift and where the oxygen in the body is getting stuck. But I've kind of gone off circle. I want to come back to when we use things like, say, stimulants like LSD, what we're doing is creating an artificial hallucinogenic. And so that's not actually something that our body loves. essentially it burns out the adrenals, it burns out the chemical system, it actually causes a lot of inflammation. Whereas depending on how your body is, I don't kind of adhere to plant medicines. I have used them on occasion, but it is a natural way to actually amplify that DMT in the body. Anyway, coming back to the palatine bone. If this has been locked up for any reason, and this could be if a child struggled to breastfeed, or if they had an unusual birth story, or if they were impacted in the body, they possibly were clotheslined, right? Because that would impact the jaw that takes up into the palatine. What it can mean is that as children, any impact to the body can actually lock out our ability to have free flowing energy from the pineal gland and allowing ourselves to receive that information through the vagal, but also the spinal cord. Okay. And so some people will find that they struggle to actually see things, even if you express, how can I see an apple in my third eye? It's there, but the trust is gone, or the body has been impacted, and so the pineal gland is not actually getting the nutrients and the support that it needs in order to have its visionary components. Now, everyone on the planet has sixth sense abilities. They also have, ability to vision. And at the same time, we have very, very toxic environment that is taking away from a lot of our ability to do that naturally, right? It's disconnecting us. And this is really important because we have a massive fight on this planet at the moment around fluoride. Now, you know probably by now that I'm all about health sovereignty. And so for me, when we tip poisons into our water and we mass dose that to everyone, that to me is not health sovereignty. And I feel like it is a complete and utter overstep. And it's also on the level of, genocide, because essentially fluoride is locking down the pineal gland. And at the same time, it also causes DNA mutations, right? So they have shown that it actually stops oxygen from being able to get to spaces in the body, but it also, because of the shift in the pineal gland, which changes our melatonin, which changes our chemical cascade down the body, it will have a vast impact on how we feel as a human, but also how our DNA actually replicates itself. Okay. And so those of you who choose to do fluoride, that is up to you, but this is where we get to choose. And so in New Zealand at the moment, we're having this battle on a government level because they've decided to take over council's ability to choose on that. But also, even though, we don't want council doing it either, there has been a mass exodus from using the tap water that is coming through the system, right? And so this is all about how we are reconnecting to our bioelectrical conductivity. Okay, so bio meaning this body, electrical meaning our electricity system that runs through the body, which is the water system, and our conductivity, so how it is moving in and through the body. Now, this is why we work with the bones, and I'm going to come back around to that because I first want to point out what you may be feeling with these eclipses that are happening because of it being in Virgo and Pisces, but also because there's been a couple of developments on the planet recently. Right, so one of those is they have recently found a very highly charged neutrino off the shores of France, Italy, and Greece. All right. And a neutrino is essentially it's matter, but it's a light particle, right? A neutrino, when we connect it with water and DNA, it's basically our liquid light consciousness. And it's believed, it's not certain yet, it's believed that it is created in conductivity with a black hole. And so for us to find one, for them to find one at this level, because it's actually got the weight mass of 10,000 kilograms, yes, so to equivalent of two elephants, is quite a marked, powerful experience for the planet, right? And so what it means is we are starting to unlock the dark matter that is happening, that is in of us in the universal mass energy, right? And how they're showing me when I'm channeling this energy is the dark matter is everything we aren't using or we have not observed. Because when we look to quantum entanglement, when we observe something, it immediately shifts the opposite. It has a literal shift. As soon as you observe this, it is going to shift it on the other side of the planet or the other side of the body or the other side of a string, right? It's literally quantum entanglement. And so when we do not observe dark matter, which is 85% of the universal mass, what we are doing is we are not tapping fully into our entire potential. And that's what they're showing me right now is our DNA. We have been told that there is junk DNA, but the reality is that there is no junk DNA. All of this DNA is there to be utilized, but more about finding the refinement within the potential of that. Right? So the more that we refine to what it is our alignment is, the more that we find the potential within the larger mass of who we are. Now, when we are out of that alignment, these symptoms of anxiety and dizziness, heartbeats, heart palpitations, where our heart beats a little bit off, that's not that you're out of alignment, but it is an identifier that your body is asking for more support as you come into the energy of your potential. Because when we are opening potential, like a seed, we need to invite more nutrient density into that seed so that it can actually unfold as it needs to, because it has everything it needs within it. And the more that we buff that soil and look after that soil and nurture that soil, we give it the best opportunity to grow, right? And at the moment, with everything that's going on around the planet, what we're finding is that there's so much fear and anxiety that it's actually closing down the breath and the bones. And I noticed this hugely last week for myself, right? I was going through a massive health expression. I cleared out half a cup of lymph, and I could feel those old stories moving, but I also had to be in the pain in order for that to shift. Now, my hubby, he's brought up in the traditional realm, I love him a bit, and he's like, just go to the doctor to get it done. I don't want to push it down and cause more harm later. What we are being invited to is that with those neutrinos, they are messengers of this dark matter. They are messengers that are opening up the junk DNA. And this is how we are going to open it by receiving our full vision, by receiving our ability to be in the silence of it and know that we are safe to be in the vision of it as well. Right? For me to step out and say that I have psychic abilities was a massive, massive step for me in my business, but also in my life, in my family life. Right? I know I've had it my whole life. And I would say, oh, I heard this, or I felt that, or I noticed this. But now I'm like, oh, here we go. This is the message. This is what's happening. But it took a really long time for me to be able to trust it and for me to be able to move with it and understand that it is totally safe for us to be in the visionary, in the knowing, in the seer, in the oracle energy. And so maybe that's what's coming up for you at the moment. So in regards to anxiety, what's happening is we are recalibrating our nervous system right now. That's what's happening. Okay. So don't make it like a problem. We're literally recalibrating to new timelines because what is about to come is so beautiful, but it is going to take a tower moment. It is going to have to crumble before it gets better. And if you push against that crumble, it is going to be hard. It is going to be heavy, right? And this is probably the time for the card that came through before is the Emperor. So I always tend to pull a couple of cards to really speak into this conversation we're having, because the Emperor is when it's upside down, it's all about rigidity, right? It's all about excessive control or inflexibility, big ego, power struggles. And the thing is, a lot of the time we're afraid to let go of control. But the reality is that control is an illusion. Change is the only thing that is constant. And with these new neutrinos that we're starting to find out about, this new elevation of dark matter, the new capacity that our pineal gland is opening to because of the light that's coming onto this planet, it is a consciousness shift, and your nervous system needs to be able to calibrate to this new timeline. If you stay rigid, if you try and control, it is going to get harder and more brittle, and it will break. Something will break. You've got to allow yourself to be flexible. You've got to allow yourself to have that depth and that width of emotion, and let everything be this and slash both, right? Because if you are struggling being a mum, like I've noticed, I'm going through the new recalibration of being a homeschooling mum while also having a business. And when I noticed that last week, because I was less resourced with my energy, I was like, oh, I'm bad if I'm working. Oh, I'm bad if I'm just being a mum. And I remember at a moment when someone said, no, it's this and slash both. So when I'm being a mum, I'm also and still a good business lady. When I'm a business lady, I am and still am a good mum, right? So give it and slash both to allow your body to expand and feel safe again. All right, some of the other things that I wrote down here, we've got fatigue and brain fog. Totally. I feel like I've walked into a room 1,000 times and I've come out going, what was that? I had to go back to the original moment. This is our DNA unlocking the fractals that are waiting to happen, right? This is our DNA going, hang on, I just stepped out of time. And when I'm in presence, I forget what came before this and what's coming after. And it's actually a good thing, right? Fluid retention. We are going through a massive water conversation. And it's funny because I was, working in a project with my son, homeschooling, and we found out that frogs actually absorb water through their skin as well as drinking it. And so that's the kind of energy that I'm feeling is like we're not just absorbing water from drinking. In fact, I feel so dehydrated no matter how much I'm drinking with electrolytes on top of it, but we are actually absorbing it through our skin now and starting to morph with our environment a little bit more. And so being in nature is really essential. Working with the blessed water, working with integrating that underground water that's sitting under you as a reservoir is very key. All right. Dizziness, of course, dizziness because we're working with any of the fluid in the pineal gland and the inner ears, which you can go and check out my sovereignty work channel that was done a few weeks ago. Because of that disruption of the waters still happening, always still happening. All of these channels are bigger pieces of work, not just in the moment. We've also got feeling out of the body, which of course is the electromagnetic field of our body feeling like it's realigning, right? It's resetting. So our electromagnetic field is much larger than our physical body. Our heart paces out far and wide. In fact, I found out recently that cows with 13 meters, their heart radiates out 13 meters. Like, how amazing is that? And this is part of us realigning and finding ourselves in our natural map, our atlas, which is C1 when we talk to the atlas. All right, and the heartbeat, obviously, we are regulating the resonance with new frequencies. And massive dream recall. So I woke up this morning and had such a such a vivid dream of a friend of mine who's pregnant, and and there was a centipede. We were sitting in a bath, a big bath, and it was beautiful out in nature. And the centipede kind of did 2 circles around, and I was really concerned about it biting my friend. And then it got to me on the third round, and it kind of ran onto the water and kind of went at me, and I tried to push it off, but it bit me. And I could feel the massive pulse. I've actually stepped on a pufferfish before, and it was kind of similar energy. And what they were saying about that was it's time to awaken, like where you think you have been poisoned, where you think the waters of your internal body have been poisoned, they have been stolen, or they have been corrupted. It is time for you to recognize that you are a bioelectrical conductive tuning fork for this earth. And so it is time to give yourself really, really deep compassion. You have to rest. You have to rest in this eclipse season. We are in the biggest shift of human evolution right now, not tomorrow, in this moment right now. And you can feel it if you really give yourself that time and that rest. And of course, that's why our anxiety levels can be getting up quite high too. We are walking a path of the unknown at the moment and the unseen. So the second card that came up was Four of Cups, which is kind of this contemplation energy. It's what I was saying just then is around re-evaluating, like really bringing yourself into, can I just sit and be in the energy? Can I just absorb what's going on? Um, like I went to a concert recently and the amount of people who had their phones out, and I did too. And I was like, actually, I just want to enjoy it. So I got a couple of videos and then I thought, put it away, just be present, right? And that is exactly what they're asking of us right now. It is essential that we be present because the more that we can be present, the more that it softens the impact that this is having on ourselves, but also our nervous system as a family and also the nervous system of the planet, all right? We also are connecting with this artesian water basin that is sitting in Australia. Uluru, that we have known in the past, is the solar plexus. However, what I have been shown more in the last like 10 years is that Uluru is more the umbilical cord. And so it sits between sacral and solar, and it's actually a blend of both. All right. And this is why the artesian water basin underneath Australia is so key and essential. They've just had some massive cyclones on the eastern coast, which is not unusual completely, but it is a little unusual for it to come lower. And what that's about is again that clearing out. And so one of the key things that they were calling in for all of us to do right now with this neutrino DNA, activating this liquid light kind of consciousness, is to really come back into our primal waters. Now, when I talk primal waters, what I'm saying is we need to come back into the seaweed energy, the chlorophyll energy. We're looking at chlorella, spirulina, seaweeds in order to allow our body to effectively deodorize internally. That's what it does. It kind of picks up the toxicity and it allows it to move out of the filtration system, which is the kidneys. And I had to work very hard last week to get my kidneys to keep working while I was detoxing. So magnesium, Epsom salt, baths, your electrolytes. In New Zealand, we have nothing naughty. They do a low sugar, like a very low sugar. I think they call it a keto, but I don't know for sure. Electrolyte, it's beautiful, blackcurrant and apple. Find something similar to that. Have that at least once or twice a day. And then tissue salts, obviously. Really want to get the water flowing through the body a lot more effectively. So something like Nat Sol for water elimination, but it also starts to help movement and any kind of glandular movement as well. So possibly Kali Mur, I think. And then one of the other things I really want to mention with the Palatine bone is because it can cause so much anxiety, it can cause a lot of issues around eating, uh, food disorders like eating disorders, around addictions, a lot of cigarettes, vapes, marijuana, things that have to go in the mouth is a connection to the palatine bone. So it's trying to put pressure up there, and it takes us back to how we would suck our thumbs or have a dummy. And it's that calming reflex that we're looking for, right? That's what the body is looking for in that process. Drinking, the same. I notice we have the sparkling waters, and I've been wanting to have more of that. And it's almost like a calming process, right? So, with that said, really find what your body works with. And I really invite you to go outside and find out what the one herb in your garden is that is growing like it is out of control. Right now, mine is rosemary. So I am having rosemary in every water that I have. I also have kawa kawa coming out my ears. So I'm using that digestive tonic, Rosemary is stimulation of the brain, but also lifts up the spirit and cleans the liver. There's a lot of lemon balm, which is anxiety, relaxes the body, good for night times, and a lot of chamomile that's sitting out in our paddocks as well. Go out and find what herb is there that you can use to allow you to detox naturally, but also just to enhance that water because it makes it living water. All right. And that will help with anxiety. It will help clear the body of some of those inflammatory markers that are bouncing around because we're not quite sure who we are at this point in time with the eclipses. It's a bit of a shift in illusion, right? And no sunglasses, all right? I know we have this incredible, like, sunglasses feel good, they feel sexy, they feel awesome, but it is collapsing our ability to receive the light. And this has a massive cascade effect on our hormones. So if possible, no sunglasses. And the other thing is no seed oils. I really do invite you to clear out any seed oils that you may be having in your diet. It causes a huge amount of skin cancers. It discombobulates the body. It confuses the cholesterol in your body, which creates all the hormones for us to be able to function at all, our communication system. And seed oils are really coming out in a nasty way with our bodies. If you burn really easily, there may be a seed oil component. If you find that you've got a lot moving through your skin that just seems to want to purge, it's probably got something to do with seed oils because it tends to back up the lymphatic body. All right. I have so much more to say about this, but I know that I want to keep them reasonably short and concise. But one of the mantras that wanted to come through for us today, after I picked our second card of the Kanika Oracle deck, which is timelessness, which is T8. We're looking at adrenal energy here as well. Timelessness is the black hole. Is that not ironic that we were talking about neutrinos that are connected to black holes, that are connected to the dark matter of the universe? And obviously it looks like the womb portal. We've got the dragon here, which is the gatekeeper of Earth, and you've got Earth here as well. This is allowing you to come into time of now. Like, that is really, really important. And the mantra that wanted to come through was, I allow my DNA to integrate this light. I trust the unfolding. All right. I trust the unfolding. And for those of you who would like to do a embodiment, please feel free to stay. If not, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get these when they pop up. I love what I do. Please share it far and wide. And I would love to have comments. It really makes my day to find out what you took away. What was the key piece? What are you noticing in your body and what you'd like to change, shift, or what is the unfolding that's coming to you? Now, if you would like to stay, I'm just going to do one shift. All you're going to do is place your thumb onto your Palatine, like that. And you're going to hold the top of your head with the middle finger. You're going to breathe all the way in to hold all that pressure. Then you're going to breathe 3 times. Okay, so taking a deep breath in, hold, sip it in 3 times, hold, move to allow your body to push into all of those edges that it feels. It's almost like a stretch that it wants to do. And keep going until you get a really deep breath, yawn, sneeze, burp, whatever wants to come up. Let it come up. I couldn't fully do that myself while I was taking you through it. It's a little harder to do on yourself. So, but feel how you feel. Let that be okay. I can feel my shoulders and my whole chest relaxing. I probably should have done that at the start, and that's okay. I hope your dreams are beautiful over this eclipse season. I really hope this supports you in some way. Please come back into contemplation and know that your body is this remarkable bioelectrical conductive tuning fork for this planet. So really celebrate yourself, celebrate you being here, celebrate you being the communication that you came here to be on this planet. Thank you so much. Aroha nui.